What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the show, man. Recap with Mo, where we getting ready to get into another episode, breakdown the Tyler Perry Sistas. But before we get into this thing, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit that's going down, alright? So the episode we're getting ready to get into is for season 7, episode number 22, titled Had It Coming. Now the synopsis states, Andi's career is completely changed, but her life is thrown into turmoil when someone's life is at stake. Meanwhile, Sabrina's true desires come true. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this thing. Alright, y'all, so we kicked this episode off exactly where we left off, with Rich at the hospital with Sabrina and Damani and the nurse. Now, Rich had burst into the room, because he, had a little conversation with the fellas back at the juice bar or whatnot, and he finally figured out that he really wanted Sabrina to be in his life, and he wanted to be the one to, provide her with the seed. So he runs up to the hospital, bursts into the room, and he tells her to stop. Now, Sabrina is like, why are you here? You're embarrassing me. Whoop. And of course, Damani's like, man, bro, like, why are you here? Like, we already got this process going. So he was like, oh, no, Playboy, I already know what you're doing. I can already foresee what you're trying to do. Now, Sabrina's like, look, y'all need to cool down. But she's specifically talking to Rich because Damani is here with support. Like, he's supportive in this whole situation. So she ain't really looking at Damani that much, but she's definitely looking at Rich. So anyhow, long story short, they stop the procedure, and the nurse pretty much tells them, like, look, you at least have a week or so for this process to, continue or whatnot. And she also tells her that she would also keep Damani's, sample on the side just in case, Rich's sample doesn't work or whatnot, right? So, of course, that whole situation could have been a lot worse. But I think Sabrina trying to calm it down and telling the nurse, like, look, okay, we'll talk about it and we'll go from there. I will contact you or whatnot, whoa. So after everyone leaves, Sabrina tells Rich that she would like to see him back at the crib. And she's like, once I get dressed, I'm going to go out here and holler at Damani to apologize to him. And Rich is sitting over here still in his feelings or whatnot, telling her, like, no, you don't have to do all of that. Like, you don't have to apologize to that fool. Like, what for? And she tells him, well, he was here. He was supportive. That's more than I can say about you. I was like, daggone. And then she walks off, and Rich is sitting over here like, dang, like, she is right about that. So anyhow, moving on from there, we head over to the law firm where we see Miss Marie coming in to meet up with Hayden, who's in the conference room. So she tells him that time is up and she wants to know what's going on with her money. Is she going to be able to keep, everything that's going on with her empire or whatnot, right? So Hayden tells her that they're actually still working on her case, but also he informs her that, look, we haven't been successful with finding dirt on your husband, so we're going to have to figure out another route. And of course, she's not happy by that. She's pissed off. And of course, he's like, look, I came here because of the reputation of this law firm, but you're proving me wrong. So while they going back and forth, in walks Andi with a smile and a strut. I was like, okay, is she good or is she high? Because I did not know what to expect. So anyhow, she walks in with this file folder and she sits down and she shows it to Miss Marie. Miss Marie is like, what? Like, for real? She was like, look, you're going to be able to keep every daggone thing. You heard me. And of course, Miss Marie is happy to hear that. The only one in the room that is not happy to hear that is Brother Hayden. Now, Brother Hayden is like, can I see that file? Andy's sitting over there like, absolutely. So, of course, he grabs the file. He's looking at it. And, as they're celebrating on the side, Hayden is like, how did you get this? Now, Andi conveys to him that, hey, I got my sources as well. So anyhow, Miss Marie wants to know, where do we go from here? But before they can get into the details, Miss Marie turns around and she's like, hey, Hayden, can we have the room, please? And then turns back and looks directly at Andi. Now, of course, Hayden wants to say something, but he already knows he can't. So he gets up mad as heck and walks on out. So from that point, they have their little one-on-one conversation, where Miss Marie pretty much takes this time to, praise Andi, telling her that she knew when she first laid eyes on her that she was a superstar and she's so glad that she brought her business over here. Woo, woo, whoa. So anyhow, she's like, look, I'm so glad that Jordan introduced me to you or whatnot. And of course, when she mentioned Jordan's name, Andy's face just turned upside down. And of course, Miss Marie noticing that is like, what's wrong? Like, y'all a power couple. Like, the White House better watch out. And all the time she talking, I'm like, no. So anyhow, Miss Marie is like, what's going on? So Andi is like, no, I don't want to get you involved in my relationship stuff and all of that. And she was like, look, I've already involved you in my relationship, so go ahead and tell me what's up. So finally, after pulling teeth and tying shoestrings out of knots or whatnot, Andi finally reveals to Miss Marie what's going on. Well, she tells her that she has to marry Gary to protect Jordan. And she was like, is it that bad? She was like, yes, it's bad enough for me to have to marry him or whatnot. So Miss Marie tells Andi, look, don't worry about it. I will take care of it. Let me see what I can do. So after hearing this, Andi not understanding the assignment, like, go ahead and give her your burden. Let her deal with it like she said she was going to do. No, you want to know what's going on. Like, what are you going to do? Miss Marie has to remind her, look, don't ask no daggone questions. As an attorney, you ask, I know your job is to ask questions, but daggone it, if you trying to be saved, my girl, you need to learn how to be quiet, all right? So anyhow, going on from there, we now head over to Hayden's office where we see him receiving a visit from Miss Marie herself. Now, Miss Marie had just conveyed to Andi that she was actually going to speak to the partners, I believe. But I honestly believe that she made a pit stop before she made it to the partners because she wanted to see if Hayden, since she was such in a good mood, obviously he should be in a good mood as well. And maybe they can go out on the town for a little bit of a snack, as she stated. But the way she said that snack, I was like, no, she ain't talking about no daggone I said, she ain't talking about no food, bruh. So anyhow, Hayden wants to know what was going on with that little powwow between, Andi and Miss Marie. And she tells him that she was simply just handling her business or whatnot, right? So he was like, okay, but I've been handling business for you as well. So you didn't have to treat nor talk to me the way that you did or dismiss me from the room. And she was like, look, your feelings getting a little too involved in this. Like, I didn't see you as one of those types of people, right? So now I'm looking at Hayden, he looking at me, and I was like, what you gonna do, bro? He was like, just wait and see. So then he turns to Miss Marie to respond by telling her that, hey, I know how to handle my business. If anybody should know that, you should know that quite well from the way I've been handling you in the bedroom. As a matter of fact, that's why you keep coming off in here, begging for what I'm giving you. So she was like, boy, begging? And I was like, oh, bro, you done messed up because she about to get you now. So she was like, begging? And he was like, yeah. So she tells him that you should feel honored to be available for me at any time. As a matter of fact, I considered it charity. I was like, not charity. I said, not charity. So once again, Hayden is still in his feelings, and then he goes on to tell her that, hey, what if I turn this information over to the blogs and I tell them about your little rendezvous with an attorney or whatnot? And she was like, please do me that favor. And if you want to play story time, I can add something to it that you will never be able to pull anything out from. And I was like, daggone, Hayden, just give it up. You're going up against somebody that cannot lose. She got her riches. She ain't dependent upon nobody, right? You can't win this war, bro. So leave it alone. So anyhow, going on from there, we now head over to Zach and Fatima's crib where we see Zach is downstairs. He's frustrated because he feels like Fatima isn't being straightforward with him. He knows that she's hiding something or keeping something away from him, and he doesn't know why or why she's doing what she's doing, right? So anyhow, she walks down the steps. He wants to know what's going on. Why did you come in last night? Why are you not telling me what's going on? Whoa. So long story short, she tells him, don't worry about it. It will be handled. Now, when she finally does tell him about what went down somewhat, of course, Zach is ready to go out and handle his business, but she tells him that he has too much to lose at this moment. Think about your children. Think about the twins that you got on the way. Think about little Michael and potentially, what you got in the womb over here with Fatima, all right? We'll talk about that, I guess, a little bit later. But anyhow, I'm just saying, think about what you got in front of you, Zach. And I was like, yeah, I absolutely agree, sis. So go ahead and encourage this brother to stay still. Now, she does tell some facts when she says, look, we're going going to take care of it. He's going to get what's coming to him. And I was like, I hope it's soon. All right. So anyhow, going on from there, we now head back over to the law firm where we see Miss Marie and Pam. Now, Pam just so happens to run into Miss Marie, and I'm going to keep this real short. Long story short, they ran into each other. Miss Marie remembered that whole situation about her giving her a free sample for her edges. She asked Pam if she was interested in having someone invest in her company. Pam tells her she would love it, and they walk off to discuss that matter further. Going on from there, we head over to the conference room where we see Mr. Benson, who's one of the partners of the firm, and he's sitting in the conference room as Andi is walking by. He sees her and summons her to come in. Now, of course, when Andi comes in, she's nervous because she doesn't know what to expect. She doesn't know if Hayden has set up something. You never know, right? So anyhow, they sit down and he pretty much conveys to her that, Miss Marie has decided to bring all of her business over to the law firm, which is a big thing for the firm, like a big business. So that's a boom for the firm. Not only that, but there are going to be some changes, and he can't promise Andi that her life is going to get any easier with this information that he's conveying to her right now. But here at Benson, Jones, and Barnes, we're looking towards the future. And of course, Andi is trying to respond to him, and then all of a sudden she catches on to what he said at the end. And of course, she was like, "Are you serious?" He was like, "Yeah. Like, you deserve this. You brought a billionaire's business to this firm. Why not you, right? You've been winning all of these cases. Why not you? All right? You're phenomenal. You got all of this stuff going on. Why not you, right?" So anyhow, she's so appreciative of it. It was like, we still got a little bit to go through, but we feel good about it, all right? So anyhow, as Mr. Benson leaves the room, Andi is celebrating. She's up dancing and whatnot. As she's dancing, here comes Hayden walking through, and he sees her. So he decides to walk on into the conference room as well and tells her that if it was me, I wouldn't be dancing because you almost made us lose this case. Now, of course, he's still a little mad about the whole situation, and he's not being truthful. But, bro, just give her props, man. She saved this situation for the both of y'all. Y'all both should be receiving commission. So why are you so daggone mad? All right. But while you're here, Andi has to share a little bit of information and gloat in Brother Hayden's face a little bit because she was the one to win the position. She became the partner of the firm. So, of course, as he's talking and all of this good stuff, she has to reveal it to him. And, of course, he's like, no. She was like, yes. As a matter of fact, you report to me. And I also want you to know that your days here at this firm are numbered. So I was like, Dad. So I'm like, dang, bro, you can't win today. You're going to lose your woman. You're going to lose your job. It's too much. You done lost Miss Marie, the billionaire. At least you had something else to fall on. So anyhow, going on from there, though, we now head over to Sabrina's crib where we see Rich and Sabrina having a conversation about what happened previously at the hospital earlier that day. Now, Rich tells her that he had to stop the procedure because he just couldn't bear seeing the woman that he loved having another man's baby. Now, Sabrina's vantage point is this. I've given you opportunity after opportunity to jump on board with this, but you told me that you were not interested in any of this. Now, all of a sudden, Rich is back in this picture, and he wants to be the father, he wants to be the lover, he wants to be the friend, but you got to believe in me, baby. You gotta believe in me. Anyhow, all jokes aside, man, I do think that this was one of the better scenes in this episode. The simple fact that he was able to convey his thoughts, his feelings, and reveal why he felt the way he felt about the situation initially, and then sharing with her why he decided to change. And oftentimes, ladies, sometimes we have things set up in our minds the way we want everything to operate, how we want to process things. But as Rich was sitting there, he was able to say, okay, I got the juice bar. I'm successful here. I got this going. But the only thing right now that I'm missing is a woman by my side. a family by my side. And I want to be more to you than just your boyfriend. I want to be the father of your child. The only thing that I did not hear from him that I wish that I heard was the husband. I didn't hear that part of it, but he said he would be a great father to her child. I was waiting on that other part, but I'm just assuming that Rich was going to include all of that into that. I'm just assuming, right? Yeah, I think I'm right. So anyhow, going on from there, now we head over to see Hayden. Now, Hayden has returned home from work, and I'm sort of feeling bad for Hayden because it's been such a hard day for my brother. He's disappointed that he's lost his promotion. Miss Marie has taken the snacks away from him, so he ain't got nothing else left. So when he gets home, he should at least receive a kiss, a hug, a biscuit, or something, and at least clean up the house, something, right? So, of course, when he comes in, he sees Tamara on the couch, and he's like, hey, I don't get no kiss right now. She was like, you told me I was doing too much. And, of course, he's like, right. But you still on that phone, though. And she was like, well, this is my phone, and you don't have to keep telling me about my phone. He was like, well, what you got on the phone? Like, I could see where he was going with this. Like, I done lost everything today. I'm going to win this one. But little did he know he was going to lose this battle as well, because he finally fights the phone away from her, of course. But when he started scrolling through it, he done lost another battle, y'all. Oh, so I felt bad for my brother because, I don't care for Hayden at all, man, but I feel bad that he's just losing all the way around and that he done lost his billionaire girlfriend or sneaky link or whatever you want to call her. Then he done lost his whole promotion, become a partner, and now he's losing his ex-wife to be and found out that she was getting it on with his good friend. Like, it's a whole lot of stuff this brother has lost today, and he's about to lose his mind plus that. So, man, it's just crazy. So anyhow, going on from there, we now head over to Danny's crib where we see Danny and Tony. Now, Tony has came over to, apologize, to Danny for how he's been acting, how he's been responding to her. Whoa. Long story short, he wants to apologize for not setting boundaries, all right? Because he did not do a great job at that. I've said that previous times on multiple videos, right? About how this dude has not done a great job with that. Well, I'm glad that he was able to admit that. He also tells Danny that, his wife is now being sent over to Italy. Also, the kids are going along with her. So now he has the freedom to spend that one-on-one time with Danny. She doesn't have to worry about somebody walking in on them while they doing their grown-up stuff, right? So I guess it's a great thing. I still don't care for Tony, but it is what it is. We'll see how it comes out, right? So anyhow, from there, we head back over to Hayden's crib where we see Hayden is still looking at the phone. I'm like, let it go, bro. Let it go. So he finally sits down and he wants to know one thing. How long has this been going on? Now, of course, Tamara's sitting over there like, give me my phone back. Give me my phone back. And I'm sitting over here yelling at the screen like, no, girl, he wants to know how long you and Gary been doing what y'all been doing. That's what he want to know. He ain't caring about your phone right now. So she gets close up on Hayden and she was like, well, it just happened once. And of course, Hayden wasn't going for that. So then she says, well, it was actually multiple times. I actually went over there to stop it and we ended up doing it again and again. And I was like, no. So she just kept digging in on him. So he was like, look, I trusted you. I loved you. I let you back into my life. I took care of you, and this is how you do me? And she was like, look, it was just sex. He was like, it was just sex, huh? Get up out of my house. I was like, hold on, Hayden. Hold on. You still with them shorts on and that shirt? No. You should have at least made up. Understood. Did what you needed to do. Then you could say, look, you know what? It still ain't going to work. I know he was just way too mad at the time, but I'm like, daggone, don't. I mean, listen, Hayden. I'm with you, bro. Go on and do what you need to do. I know you mad, you ready to pop off on Gary, man. So you just couldn't think the way I was just thinking about the situation because I'm not in the situation. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to be mad about it, at least take it out on, you know what I'm saying? But anyhow, moving on. I digress, man. We go on to see Andi. Now, Andi, for some reason, has decided to call Jordan I don't know why. I really don't know why she's calling Jordan to tell him the good news and the bad news. The good news is she made partner. Whoop-de-doo. Thank you for bringing me Miss Willis and saving my career. Bad news is I'm still marrying Gary. It's not because of you. I love you. It's so don't blame yourself. And then she hangs up the phone. I said this scene is not needed. This scene was not needed, man, because it made the situation worse. Going on from there, we now head back over to Sabrina's crib where we see Karen, Danny, and Sabrina having a conversation, about Andi and what needs to be done to protect her and to aid her in this situation because we know what's going on is not right. So Danny's like, look, we just need to unalive old boy. Now, of course, Sabrina's sitting over here like, no, we can't do that. I mean, I just found the man that was going to give me my baby, so I can't mess up my blessing. You know what I'm saying? So, no, we need to find another way. So, of course, after Danny had suggested unaliving Gary, and, of course, Karen looked like she was siding with Danny or whatnot. And I was like, ooh, I don't know about these sisters right here. So, anyhow, we head over to Zach's crib where we see Fatima is on the phone. Now, I guess she's trying to get in contact with Madam to see what the plans are and whatnot, but she's taking care of some other business right now. And as she's getting off the phone, Zach receives a phone call from Karen who wants to speak directly to Fatima. So, of course, he was like, what do they want? And Zach's sitting over here like, I don't know, but you can go ahead and take a listen or whatnot. So, anyhow, she gets on the phone and Karen wants to know, the location of the event because she was able to peep, the calendar for Andi or whatnot. So she knows that the wedding is going down tonight. They just want to show up. All right, and make their presence known and do what they need to do and how to get down or whatnot. So, of course, Fatima pretty much tells them, like, okay, I can't tell y'all too much because I made a promise to your girl Andi that I wouldn't tell her business, but I will send you the address to the wedding. I was like, okay, but you still giving up the business. So, anyhow, she gets off the phone after sending them the address. She goes upstairs to go get a bag, all right? And she comes back downstairs with this red bag telling Zach, hey, we're going to go ahead and meet up with the girls over there at the wedding as well. And he was like, why we got to go? She was like, well, if they going, we going. So since we're talking about the wedding, we now head over to see Gary getting dressed. He's putting on his tuxedo. He's looking at himself in the mirror. And in walks Andi behind him. Now, of course, he's like, hold on, wait a minute. Ain't it bad luck for the bride to see the groom before the wedding? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, well, too bad I don't believe in all of that. But, he still wants to marry her. For whatever reason he does, he wants to have that control over Andi. And Andi is all willing to do it, right? But she's trying to persuade him as well that, hey, there are some other options. We don't have to actually go through this. I won't testify against you. Whoa. He was like, no, it's going down. So you just need to figure out a way to smile for these cameras or whatnot, for these pictures. But it's going down today. And as a matter of fact, you and your little friends, y'all better not try anything, all right? So as she's telling him like everything is going to be good, he's asking her, why are you willing to do this for him? And she tells him, it's because I love him. It's out of love. And he was like, love? She was like, yeah, like oftentimes the people that I love are the ones that's always sacrificing or being hurt for me. And this time I've decided to be the one to sacrifice myself for the ones that I love. And I was like, okay, that's deep, Tyler. That's deep. I like that. All right. So he was like, man, that's BS, man. Move on about your business. I'll see you later. So he dismisses her like nothing. Because as she's talking about this pain, all he could think about is the bedroom. Like, yeah, I'm going to give you that pain later. I'm like, bro, you have no respect for this woman. So why do you want to marry? Why do you want to marry her, right? So anyhow, as she's leaving the room, Gary receives a phone call from Hayden, who's now sitting in his car. He done left the house. He done sent Tamara on about her business. He done left the house sitting out in his car crying. He boo-hooing. I was like, hold on, bro. See, you would have felt better if you would have taken my option. You see what I'm saying? You would have felt better about the situation. You may have been hurt, but you would have felt better. But all I'm saying is, you can't be doing this, man. So he now sitting in the car. He crying. He decides to call Gary to see what's going on. Gary tells him he's getting ready to get married. He's happy about it. He was like, oh, for real? And he was like, guess what? He was like, what? It's not Penelope. He was like, who is it, Andi? He was like, yeah, it is. Go ahead and come on down here. He was like, so you just getting what you want, right? He was like, yeah, man, I'm doing it. And he was like, bring Tamara, by the way. And Hayden conveys to him that he and Tamara, they not seeing eye to eye. Matter of fact, she ain't around right now. And he was like, see, I told you about her, man. I told you what type of female she was. So that just dug into his skin deeper, right? So now Hayden is like, yeah, man, just go ahead and send me the Addy. I'll be right over. No problem. So, of course, Gary's like, all right, man, I'll send it to you. Be on your way. See you soon. So from there, he want to beat up the steering wheel. Like, what did the steering wheel do to you? Like, you need to save that energy for Gary when you see him, right? So anyhow, since we're talking about Gary, we head back over to the wedding venue where we see Andi and Hudson sitting in the room where the chairs are, right? Ain't no other guests there. So I'm like, y'all getting ready to get married. And I remember the wedding planner talking about this is going to be the biggest wedding of the year. Woo, woo, woo. But I'm like, where they at? Like, where are the guests? Like, ain't nobody here. Like, so what type of wedding is this? Is this even real? Right? So Hudson is sitting directly next to Andi, and in walks the sisters from the back. And they loud when they come in. Of course, Hudson is like, y'all can't be here. This is a private venue or whatnot. And they was like, I want you to put me out. Go on and put me out. So long story short, he tells them that he's going to go and get Gary to handle this situation and whatnot. But Andi is like, no, I will take care of this situation. But, the girls try to talk to Andi. They try to talk her out of the situation. They try to see what's going on. Of course, she never reveals to them for real what's going on with her and why she's doing what she's doing. She's telling them to just deal with it, just accept it. But when people love you, Andi, people are just not going to accept anything. And you can't continue to lie, just like Sabrina said. That is your lying face. But you put on quite a bit this whole season, really. So, and then Jordan walks in and she can't even be honest with him. He tells her that he heard the voicemail that she left and he wanted to talk to her about the situation, and he's trying to tell her that we can run away and all of this. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. So, she finally goes in and she goes to see where Gary is and how frustrated she is because she sent all of these people that love her away or whatnot. And now she's wanting to know, why is this taking so long? So she goes back to the room fussing and complaining and all of this stuff, talking about you got me in this dress and you ain't even out here on time. Woo, woo, woo. So when she walks in the room, she sees Gary stretched out on the floor with a knife in his chest. So she looks down, she has a little smile a little smirk on her face and whatnot. Then she gets that little fake, I said, you ought to be ashamed of yourself with that, man. Anyhow, that's the end of the episode, y'all, man. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit that's going down, all right? I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.